Since kindergarten, Justin and I had never gone more than 3 days without seeing each other. But ever since our families arranged our engagement, he had been avoiding me for an entire year. He blocked all my contact attempts, and the security at his company told me that unauthorized persons, especially Selena, were not allowed. Every time I appeared in his sight, he would immediately turn away and leave. Eventually, even his friends couldn't stand it anymore and secretly arranged for me to see Justin. But when I arrived, I heard Justin's cold voice drifting through the crack in the door. Just a little toy that comes running every time I call. No skills, no personality. Getting engaged to her makes me feel degraded. My hand froze on the doorknob. Eric, standing behind me, quickly covered my ears. Sis, don't listen to Justin's nonsense. He's drunk and not thinking straight. I'll go in there and give him a piece of my mind. He was about to push the door open, but I tugged on his sleeve and shook my head. For so long, I had wanted to ask Justin why he hated the engagement so much, even to the point of making it a topic of gossip among high society. I had called him brother for almost 17 years, but he was never really my brother. If he's going to marry someone, why couldn't it be me? Now I finally knew the answer. It wasn't because I wasn't good enough or pretty enough. To him, I was nothing more than a little pet he had raised. A toy? Something to pass the time? Or maybe just a pretty ornament to keep around. Eric gently wiped away my tears with a tissue, mumbling, "What are they even saying in there? None of them can be trusted." "It's okay, Eric." I took a deep breath. "Can you take me home? I don't want to see him anymore." "All right, but..." Just as we were about to turn and leave, the door suddenly opened from the inside. We froze, face to face with Ethan, who had opened the door. Unaware of the situation, Ethan grabbed my arm and pulled me inside. This drinking party had originally been an opportunity for everyone to persuade Justin to reconcile with me. Ethan led me to sit in front of Justin. "Justin, even if you want to go against your family, you shouldn't treat Selena like this. She's someone we all grew up with. Speak to her properly and let your harsh words cause any more misunderstandings." From the moment I entered the room, Justin hadn't looked up, but the veins on the back of his hand gripping the glass were bulging. Eric followed us in, signaling Ethan to stop. Before Eric could help me up, Justin finally spoke. "Selena, why do you never listen? Didn't I already tell you? Until my grandfather and my parents change their minds, we shouldn't see each other. Why are you so stubborn?" I kept my head down, unable to reply. The tension in the room was suffocating. The last time Justin had been this angry was when one of his close friends had confessed his feelings to me. Eric sighed, stepped closer, and gently patted my head. Then he called for the others to leave, giving Justin and me some space to talk alone. Justin took a frustrated gulp of his drink. "Sis, can you have a little dignity? I've told you I'm not interested in you. I've never seen you as a woman. Instead of clinging to me all the time, why don't you try improving yourself? All you do is chase after men all day, aren't you ashamed? When I take full control of the company and start traveling for business, I can't always bring you along." It felt as if I had plunged into an icy ocean, my whole body numb and powerless. So this was how he had seen me all these years. "So, just stay away from me. I'm sure Grandpa will call off the engagement soon." "I understand. You won't ask Eric or the others to come looking for me again?" "I won't." Memories spun through my mind like a carousel. I once thought of those moments as my most precious treasures. Now, I saw how foolish I had been. I had ignored Justin's growing impatience with me since high school. Ignored his disdain for the way I dressed. Ignored how, when he heard about my classmate's confession, he instinctively said, "Someone actually likes her?" I looked at Justin seriously. "Justin, thank you for saving me when I was a child. From now on, I'll take this lesson to heart and never bother you again." With that, I stood up and left without looking back. I returned to the villa and turned on the lights. It was as empty as ever. My parents were never home, and Grandpa lived in the mountains seeking peace of mind. Justin's mother once said that ever since I was born, there had only been a nanny to care for me. When I was 3, one day the nanny went out to buy groceries and forgot to close the door. I ran outside and fell in the middle of the road. Justin, who had been playing in his garden, heard my cries and carried me back to his house. For the next decade and more, I followed Justin everywhere. We went to the same elementary school, middle school, and even university. When I was bullied for being introverted, it was Justin who stood up for me. He taught me how to protect myself. In short, Justin had been a bigger presence in my life than my so-called parents. I depended on him too much. So when he started avoiding me, I panicked. I searched for him everywhere, feeling like my whole world was falling apart. A year isn't such a long time, but it was harder to bear than the past decade. I sat in front of my computer, staring at the email confirming my acceptance into the exchange program. My therapist had told me that changing my environment and picking up new hobbies would help shift my focus. I had originally wanted to tell Justin. Just thinking about it made me smile bitterly. He was probably more than happy for me to stay as far away from him as possible. When I left, I only sent a text to my parents, not that they would actually care. Once I arrived in Italy, I managed to complete all the paperwork and even rented a place, albeit clumsily. It wasn't as difficult as I had imagined. During the downtime before classes started, I traveled through several nearby cities in search of inspiration. Just as my therapist had said, getting out and walking around really did shift my mindset. My habits began to change as well. After being robbed 3 times and harassed countless times, I decided to take up self-defense. From now on, no one would protect. May had to learn how to protect myself. 2 months after classes had started, I suddenly received a call from Eric. "Selena, why didn't you tell us you were going abroad? We only found out after running into one of your classmates." "Yeah, I just came here to study and clear my head. I'll be back in a few months, don't worry." "How's life over there? Is it safe where you're living?" "Everything's fine, very safe." "That's good. Do you want me to tell Justin? He has some friends over there." "No need, I'm fine. No need to trouble anyone." "All right then. But if anything comes up, make sure you contact me. Or Justin." At the office, Eric pressed the button to hang up after hearing the call disconnect. She's really grown some backbone. Justin sat nearby, turning a lighter in his hand, his face dark. "But Justin, you're the one who told her not to contact you." Eric leaned back on the sofa, glancing at Selena's exchange program application. "Telling her not to contact me doesn't mean she can't call or text." "Oh, for heaven's sake, check your block list. You insisted on making it convincing, and then blocked her completely. How was she supposed to tell you anything? If it were me, I wouldn't bother with you either." Eric rolled his eyes. He had been Justin's childhood friend, and had also watched Selena grow up. He knew all too well about Selena's family situation. Her father didn't care, her mother didn't love her. She rarely spoke and clung to Justin. But Justin never saw her in a romantic light. Now that she was far away, of course he felt uneasy, but he would never admit it. This whole situation. Let them play out their drama however they wanted. After Eric left, Justin rubbed his temples, a restless feeling gnawing at his chest. It was even more suffocating than seeing all those portraits of him in Selena's art studio back then. Their grandparents had pressured both families into arranging the engagement. Selena had just started her 3rd year of university. What could such an innocent girl who'd never been in a relationship possibly understand? Justin swiped through his phone. After hesitating for a moment, he removed Sister from the blocked list. Then, through the intercom, he called for his secretary, Lily. "Boss, you called?" Selena went abroad on her own. The corners of Lily's mouth lifted slightly, though she quickly suppressed the expression. "This proves my strict approach worked." Miss Selena never had proper guidance growing up. No one corrected her when she did something wrong. She's in her 3rd year of university and still clinging to you every day. How could she have a future like that? A girl with no sense of self-view had to be harsh with her to build her character and independence. Lily smiled as she spoke. "And besides, just because Miss Selena went abroad doesn't mean she's really making progress. Maybe she's just playing hard to get, like those girls in romance novels. I'm a woman too, I know all the tricks. To correct her dependent mindset, you need to maintain proper distance." Justin looked thoughtful. "But she's never been away on her own before. She's in her 3rd year of university, what can't she handle? When I graduated high school, I was even younger than she is now, and went to a completely new city for college. It's not that hard girls don't need to be pampered so much." Justin thought it over, and realized there was some truth to it. Maybe Selena hadn't met many men and had confused familial affection with love. She needed to get out and face the world on her own. He instructed Lily to cancel the flight ticket he had just booked, then return to work. Bang, bang, bang.
Perfetto.
I nodded at the instructor, lowered the M1, and rubbed my wrist. My shooting score had improved significantly since last time. Silently, I packed up my things, clearing my mind. I still had a combat class that afternoon and needed to get back early in the evening, otherwise I'd run into that annoying neighbor again. Just as I reached the entrance, a tall Asian man approached. I lowered my head and quietly stepped aside. But the man walked straight toward me and stopped. "Excuse me, are you Miss Selena?" He spoke fluent Mandarin.
Yes.
"And you are?" I looked up, curious. The man standing in front of me wore a tailored suit, nearly 6'3", exuding an air of authority. But the moment our eyes met, that intimidating aura faded. His eyes were a deep, clear blue. "My name is Kevin. I'm a friend of Justin's."
Oh.
"Hello. Justin told me you came here to study alone, and he's a bit worried. He asked me to look after you. The apartment you're staying in isn't very secure. I've arranged a better place for you, Miss Selena. Would you like to move?" "You can call Justin," Kevin said with a slight gesture, inviting me to follow him. We walked to the nearby cafe, where he took out his phone and made a call. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, he politely handed me the phone. "Selena." "Yes." "Kevin comes from a family that does business with mine. He'll handle your accommodations, and you can ask him about anything you need for daily life." I steadied myself as I listened to that familiar voice. It felt just like before Justin started avoiding me. Maybe it was time, maybe distance, or maybe the effect of a year apart, but I wasn't as sad as I thought I'd be. "All right, I understand. Thank you." There was a brief pause on the other end before Justin spoke again. "But don't cling to him like someone with no self-respect. Learn to be independent, make some progress, understood?" "I understand." After hanging up, I returned the phone to Kevin with both hands and obediently followed him to the car. Since they were business partners, Justin had surely arranged something with Kevin in return. Being abroad, for my own safety, I wasn't about to stubbornly refuse their arrangements. In the car, Kevin immediately called someone to have my things packed. Then he took me out for Chinese food. An hour later, the driver pulled up to an estate. "Miss, this way, please." "Thank you." As soon as I got out of the car, I saw the butler and several maids waiting. Kevin gestured for me to follow him inside. "You don't need to call me, sir. Before I went abroad, you were only 7. We met a few times at Justin's house." I looked at him curiously, meeting his gaze. "Back then, you were playing hide-and-seek with Justin and ran right into my leg. You fell down and started crying." Kevin recalled how Selena had left quite an impression on him. He had visited Justin's house with his father, and just as they entered, this little ball of fluff had bumped into him. At that age, most kids would have cried loudly after getting hurt. But little Selena had just sat there on the floor, rubbing her nose, blinking back tears. Before he could comfort her, the tiny ball of fluff had wiped her own tears, murmured to herself, "Selena, it doesn't hurt, be good," then stood up and ran off. Judging from the information his assistant had provided that morning, she probably hadn't had anyone to comfort her when she was hurt. At the time, Justin had only been a 9-year-old boy himself, and his parents had no time to look after the neighbor's child. Kevin remembered thinking then, if no one wanted this little girl, he would take her abroad and raise her himself. He never expected that after more than 10 years, he'd be fulfilling that thought. Before I knew it, we had reached the 2nd floor. In a room to the right of the stairs, a man and 2 or 3 maids were packing up my things. The man looked up when he saw us and greeted, "Boss, Miss Selena." "Boss, weren't we going to the south apartment? Why the change to your estate?" Hearing this, I also glanced at Kevin. The tall man rubbed his nose awkwardly. "Oh, my cousin is coming to stay there soon, so I had to settle Miss Selena here first." "Oh, that's fine." The next few days passed very peacefully. Kevin even cleared out a small studio for me in his 3rd-floor office. When I didn't have class, I would paint there. Kevin often worked in the same office. Sometimes, he would sit beside me, watching me paint and joking that he wanted to collect the works of a future master. When he found out I was learning shooting and combat, he even offered to be my trainer. Noticing that my clothes were mostly simple and sporty, he arranged for a luxury brand to send over a wardrobe of stylish outfits. He had a very good eye. I hadn't realized I could look this pretty. I thought my life would continue on this quietly. Until one day, I sensed something different in the estate. The butler knocked on my door. "Miss Selina, the estate will be undergoing a major cleaning. You'll need to stay in a hotel for a few days, up to a week. The driver and maids will accompany you, so it won't disrupt your routine." I traced my finger along the door frame, hesitated a moment, but couldn't help asking, "Will Kevin also be staying at the hotel?" This situation. My heart sank with an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Was Kevin tired of me too? Even though I'd only been here 3 months. "The sir has a business trip. He'll return and personally bring you back." I clenched my fists, suppressing the bitterness rising in my chest, and replied, "All right. When do we leave?" "We can go now." I said I would change clothes and then close the door. A self-deprecating smile tugged at my lips. It's nothing. Not the first time. Thinking back on these 3 months with Kevin, I sometimes had the illusion of having found a kindred spirit. Some of his little compulsive habits, the way he interpreted my paintings. Forget it. Maybe he really did have something urgent. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and headed downstairs. Almost all the maids were gone, leaving just the butler and driver waiting at the entrance. Suddenly, my imagination ran wild. Could Kevin have gone bankrupt? I couldn't help it and nearly choked on my own saliva. I gestured to the butler and hurried to the kitchen to get some water. Even now, I wasn't fully familiar with the estate. It wasn't exactly huge, but it wasn't small either. After drinking some water, I passed by a room with the door slightly ajar. From inside, I heard the faint sound of glass breaking. Weren't they all supposed to have left already? Could it be Kevin's pet cat or dog?
It couldn't be.
A person, right? Curiosity killed the cat. I went back to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and returned to push open the door. Behind the door was a staircase leading down.
Was this
a basement? The light next to the stairs was on, and the walls were decorated with beautiful murals. Holding a phone in one hand and a knife in the other, I slowly descended. At the bottom was another door, exquisitely crafted. I thought about stopping there. What if it was dangerous? I was about to leave when I heard a familiar voice. Though it was only a muffled groan, I recognized it instantly. It was Kevin. I turned back and opened the door. The person slumped on the floor was really him. There were shards of wine bottles on the ground, and Kevin's right hand was clutching a piece of broken glass. His left hand was a bloody mess from pounding the wall. I hesitated. Should I shut the door and run, or let my empathy win and step inside? I chose to stay by the door and call out. A cowardly move, but not entirely. "Kevin? Are you all right?" His body suddenly tensed, muscles stiffening. He seemed surprised that someone was speaking to him. He turned to look at me standing in the doorway. "Selina? How did you find this place? Didn't the butler take you away?" Kevin forced his usual gentle smile, though his left hand was visibly trembling. I stood there awkwardly for a few moments, regretting that I'd called out. "I'll go now so I won't disturb you. Don't forget to take care of your hand." I was about to close the door when I vaguely heard him whisper, "Don't go." "Huh. I won't hurt you. Don't be afraid. I just had a nightmare and can't sleep. I'm a little scared. Selina, would you stay with me for a while?" I went back upstairs and saw the butler still waiting by the entrance. "Miss Selina, what do you intend to do?" "I'll take care of him. Kevin must have called you just now."
Sigh. All right.
"Miss Selina, the sir isn't seriously hurt. It's just that the anniversary of his mother's death is approaching. He has some psychological shadows." "I understand." I took the first aid kit and returned to the basement. I helped him lie down on the bed and bandaged his wounds. "Aren't you going to ask?"
No.
"But if you want to tell me, I'll listen." "There's not much to say." "That's okay." Kevin couldn't sleep, so I stayed with him, reading books. I often suffered from insomnia, too. Sometimes we would watch movies together on a tablet. Until 3 days later, Kevin finally returned to his usual self and led me out of the basement. The maids and butler in the estate acted as if nothing had happened. But between Kevin and me, There was now a subtle bond. Selena, could you do me a favor? I had just finished my final project in the third-floor studio. I turned to see Kevin sitting beside me, smiling. Of course. Kevin raised an eyebrow. You didn't even ask what kind of favor it is. Given your financial means and status, there's nothing I can help you obtain. My social circle is small, so it's not for connections. It must be something about me that's useful, like painting. Or maybe you want me to accompany you to an event. I shrugged. Most likely, he wanted me to be his plus one somewhere. Good deduction. I'd like to invite you to my Aunt Sandra's dinner party. My aunt loves introducing me to noble ladies. It's always hard for me to escape. In past years, I had no lady close enough to bring, but now that you're here, I agreed, without hesitation. Though I didn't receive much guidance growing up, I never lacked money or material things. So I found people to teach me what I needed to know. That morning, Kevin personally brought a dress to my room, a custom-made Marchesa gown. The dress was a dreamy pink, with intricate design and layers of tulle creating a voluminous skirt. The corset was adorned with flowers, making it both elegant and playful. After I changed, the stylist did my hair and makeup to match the gown. I stood on the second floor, lifting the hem of the dress. Hearing the sound, Kevin looked up from the sofa. When he saw me, his deep blue eyes widened with unhidden admiration. He quickly ascended the stairs, stopping one step below me. Bowing gallantly, he extended his hand. Would this beautiful princess do me the honor of accompanying me to the banquet? I couldn't help but laugh, was so
Childlike.
I placed my hand in his. Just as I was about to step down, I noticed he hadn't moved. Confused, I looked at him silently, questioning. Selena, this is the first time you've smiled since coming here. Do you know why I chose this dress for you? I shook my head. Don't let anyone with poor judgment make you wither. You are already beautiful inside and out. The dinner went very well. Lady Sandra seemed to like me a lot, and none of the so-called noble ladies Kevin had mentioned appeared at her side. After the opening dance, Kevin invited me onto the dance floor. Kevin, it seems your charm wasn't enough. You said I'd be your shield, but it didn't work. Kevin lowered his gaze. That's because you outshone everyone. I looked up and met his deep, penetrating blue eyes. Calm, yet with something hidden beneath. Over the past few months, I had noticed he treated me differently. It wasn't pity, nor courtesy, nor affection for a young woman. It was acceptance, admiration, and genuine appreciation. I don't know if this might sound cliché, but it's the best way to express how I feel. Kevin's voice was low, elegant, and rich, like a cello. I want to be a gardener, tending to a flower until it blooms, and then spending the rest of my life admiring and cherishing its beauty until the end. I felt his hand on my waist tighten suddenly, pulling me into his arms. Sorry, I lost control for a moment. Kevin apologized with words, but the strength of his grip didn't loosen at all. Did you leave the country before finishing language classes? That confession of yours is really so cliché, I teased, but I understood what he meant. When the song ended, I freed myself from his embrace. But Kevin didn't follow the rules. I had barely taken 2 steps when he grabbed my arm and swept me into his arms. The people around us gasped in shock. He carried me straight out of Aunt Sandra's estate, walked directly to the car, got in, and ordered the driver to go. The whole way back, we didn't exchange a single word. Back at Kevin's estate, he once again carried me out of the car in his arms. His actions were gentle, yet left no room for refusal. He carried me through the hall and into the middle of the garden. Selena, you didn't reject me. At last, Kevin shed his mask of politeness. A man who had built a business empire overseas, how could he truly be a gentle knight? What do you like about me? I looked him in the eyes. Everything. From the first time I saw you at the shooting range, I watched you from afar for a long time. You seemed so fragile, like you could break with a touch, yet there was a fierce spirit inside you that drew me in. Careless, uncertain, trusting no one, yet capable of painting such pure works of art. Everything about you fits my taste perfectly. The nanny who used to drug you and beat you, for any reason she fell and ended up in a coma. The girls who gossiped about you around Justin received anonymous threats. The neighbor downstairs who used to harass you suffocated him with a trash bag and kicked him in the groin until it burst. Clearly, you're a little leopard, yet you disguise yourself as a harmless bunny. I brushed away his hand as it reached for my face. TSK, this obsession really made him seem like a maniac. So what? I looked at this wolf who had finally bared his fangs. You stayed with me in the basement for 3 days. In that moment, I thought how wonderful it would be if you could stay by my side forever. Kevin's hand slid to my cheek, then slowly down to my neck, tightening just slightly as if my life was in his hands. Dominant and obsessive. Be mine. I can be your family, your friend, your lover, anything you want. I'll give you all my love. And I will belong to you completely, me wealth, my family, my body, my soul, my life. In that moment, time seemed to stop. I was tempted by the words, all my love. I heard my own voice softly say, all right. Then he drew me into an embrace that seemed to envelop my entire world. A kiss dominant and urgent fell upon me, as if giving me oxygen, or as if he wanted to devour my entire soul. The next morning, I was woken by the sound of a phone. My phone had been on silent for years, and since coming here, I hadn't given my number to anyone except Kevin. The ringing annoyed me. Just as I was about to get up and throw the phone, a hand caressed my face, calming me, making me release my bitten lower lip. Kevin's voice sounded beside me. It's okay, it's my phone. Be good. Saying that, he picked up the phone and looked at the screen. He didn't answer or hang up. I looked up from where I lay against his chest. Kevin raised an amused eyebrow. It's Justin. Do you want to answer? He leaned down and gave me a gentle kiss. Give it to me, I rolled my eyes. So childish, Kevin. Kevin, I heard you took Selena to the dinner last night. Thanks for taking care of her. Selena's not used to events like that. I hope she didn't cause you any trouble. I coughed. I didn't cause Kevin any trouble. I was very well behaved. So well behaved that we ended up in the same bed. I scolded myself internally for having given in to Kevin so easily last night. Selena? Yes, since you were the one calling, Kevin passed me the phone. It's good to keep the habit of getting up early.
Keep it up.
Justin probably thought we were already awake having breakfast. I didn't bother explaining. All right, Justin. We exchanged a few meaningless words, and Justin ended the call. Justin stood on the golf course with a few friends. One of them spoke smugly.
See?
I told you. Yesterday, my sister went to Lady Sandra's dinner and recognized your Selena immediately. Justin looked at the call log on his phone, his expression unreadable. Are there photos? Yeah, my sister sent them to me. Why did Selena never dress so beautifully at home? Was it because you, as her brother, wouldn't allow it? The friend kept teasing, oblivious. After a few awkward laughs, he finally noticed the tension in the air. Let me see the photos. Justin's voice had turned completely cold. Oh, okay. As soon as he pulled up the messages, Justin snatched the phone. There were over a dozen photos. Photos of Selena and Kevin entering arm in arm. Os dos bailando juntos en el salón y Kevin llevándose a Selena en brazos. La joven también envió algunos mensajes. Hermanito, ¿no crees que estos dos definitivamente ya están juntos? Mamá me dijo que intentara conocer a Kevin, pero resulta que ya tiene dueña. Para ser honesta, esta chica es realmente bonita. Justin debe ser un verdadero caballero para mantener la calma cerca de ella. La cara de Justin se oscurecía cada vez más. Oye, Justin, ten cuidado con mi teléfono. Va a terminar doblado. Su amigo chirrió con pánico tratando de salvar su teléfono. Eric también vio las fotos y suspiró tratando de consolar a Justin. Selena se ve realmente bien en un vestido de noche e incluso está dispuesta a asistir a eventos ahora. Al menos eso es un avance. Advance.
Ya.
Justin apartó la mano de Eric de su hombro apretando los dientes. Kevin. Capítulo 14. Después de estar con Kevin, de repente sentí que todo el mundo había cambiado. El día después de que confirmamos nuestra relación, Kevin me entregó documentos de transferencia de propiedad. Todas las propiedades a su nombre. Incluyendo la finca en la que vivíamos ahora tenía mi nombre. Y la mayoría de sus empresas, tanto en el extranjero como en este país, se habían transferido a mí. ¿Estás loco? En el estudio Kevin estaba sentado en su silla de oficina, mientras yo me sentaba en su regazo, hojeando el grueso montón de documentos de transferencia de propiedad.
No.
¿Y si no hubiera aceptado estar contigo? Ni siquiera estamos casados todavía. ¿Qué pasa si tomo el dinero y huyo? Me giré para mirar al hombre detrás de mí, quien tenía una sonrisa de adoración en el rostro. Sí, estoy loco. Un gran loco y una pequeña loca, una pareja perfecta. Y además, cariño, tu cara sorprendida se parece a la de un pequeño gatito tan adorable. Estoy pensando qué más podría regalarte. Rápidamente le cubrí la boca. Uf, un hombre mayor siendo romántico era realmente empalagoso. Bueno, lo elegí, así que lo cuidaré. Selena, de ahora en adelante este es nuestro hogar. Kevin enterró su cabeza en mi cuello. Miré la luz del sol entrando en el estudio, el aire lleno de un aroma dulce. Respiré profundamente dejando que esa dulzura llenara mi pecho. Está bien. Nunca me había sentido tan feliz. Tenemos un hogar. Capítulo 15. Mientras todavía estábamos inmersos en la felicidad de nuestro pequeño mundo, mi teléfono sonó de repente. Desde la última vez que Kevin descubrió que tenía ansiedad por los tonos de llamada, cambió todos mis tonos a grabaciones del tarareando canciones. Para ser honesta, la voz de Kevin tenía un efecto muy calmante en mí. Cogí mi teléfono y vi que era una llamada de WeChat. El llamante era madre. No pasa nada, contesta. Kevin me besó la oreja desde atrás. Me tranquilicé y contesté la llamada. Selena, ¿cuándo vuelves a casa? En 5 meses. El abuelo de Justin está organizando una fiesta de cumpleaños la próxima semana. Vuelve y asiste. De acuerdo.
Te peleas con Justin, no.
Entonces no me molestes con estas trivialidades de nuevo. Entendido. Miré el teléfono después de que terminó la llamada, perdida en mis pensamientos.
Kevin.
Sí, creo que ya no estoy triste. Ni siquiera me importa por qué me odia. Kevin me giró para que lo mirara de frente. Me acarició el cabello y luego me besó la frente.
Buena chica. Toque mi frente.
Las lágrimas empezaron a caer sin control. Me enterré en sus brazos llorando desconsoladamente. Llora todo lo que necesites. Ya no tendrás que sufrir más. Capítulo 16. Kevin y yo regresamos el día antes del cumpleaños del abuelo de Justin. Lo llevé a quedarse en la villa de mi familia. Kevin se puso celoso toda la noche después de ver las pinturas en mi estudio. Tuve que prometerle que pintaría más de él para volver a hacerlo feliz. Cuando Kevin y yo llegamos al salón de banquetes, la mayoría de los invitados ya estaban allí. Antes de poder reunirme con la familia de Justin, Kevin fue inmediatamente rodeado por gente intercambiando saludos. Me escabullí del grupo. Encontré un rincón tranquilo y disfruté de algunos mini pasteles. Señorita Justin, levanté la vista y allí estaba Lily con un vestido blanco sin tirantes. La mujer que más detestaba. Lily fingió no ver cómo ponía los ojos en blanco y se sentó a mi lado.
Señorita, Selena has regresado.
Pensé que tendrías algo de dignidad y no molestarías más a Justin. Lily giraba su vino expresando tranquilamente su malicia. Las chicas deben tener algo de dignidad, no aferrarse a Justin como una lapa pegajosa. No sabes cuánto te desprecia la madre de Justin. Una huérfana no deseada. Mencionar un compromiso fue solo por el bien de tu abuelo. Como mucho eres solo un chiste para entretener. Yo soy la mujer que merece estar al lado de Justin. Con esa apariencia seductora, puesto a que sueñas con ser la pequeña dulzura de Justin, no miré el pastel que tenía en la mano. Perdí el apetito. Lily sabía que tenía problemas psicológicos graves. Antes me había provocado con sus comentarios pasivo-agresivos. En ese entonces, debido a mi extrema inseguridad causada por la distancia de Justin, sus provocaciones siempre tenían éxito. Esta vez finalmente mostró su verdadera cara. Me sentí lo suficientemente disgustada como para querer golpearla, pero no podía arruinar la fiesta de cumpleaños del abuelo. Me levanté con la intención de poner algo de distancia entre nosotras. Solo fingiría que era un perro ladrando. Pero ella agarró mi muñeca y me empujó. Oh no, el vino en su mano se derramó sobre su vestido. Señorita Selena, no tengo intenciones inapropiadas hacia Justin, no necesitas ser hostil con cada mujer que lo rodea. Lily levantó la voz atrayendo la atención de la mayoría de la gente en el salón. Tuve una sensación y me di la vuelta.
And yes, Justin was helping his grandfather out of the room, his mother following closely behind. Selena, what are you doing? Justin frowned, glancing at Lily's stained dress and questioning me. His mother also spoke disapprovingly. Selena, today is your grandfather's birthday. You're not even officially engaged to Justin, yet you can't act like this. What did I teach you before? Jealousy, no matter the occasion, is simply petty. The grandfather also frowned, tapping his cane on the floor several times. Girl, you need to go back and reflect on your behavior. I'll have to discipline you on behalf of your grandfather. What?
What is going on here? Are they acting out a soap opera? The plot is so cliché, even the cheesiest dramas wouldn't bother filming it. I was stunned by what they were saying. Selena. Kevin was the first to rush over from across the room, his face dark and threatening. I quickly grabbed his hand and shook it gently. It's fine, I'll handle this myself. Lily moved to stand behind Justin, looking pitiful, and Justin's mother patted her hand comfortingly. When you're left speechless, you really can't help but laugh. I ignored their accusations. Calmly, I pulled a recorder from my purse, turned it on, and raised the volume to max. You have no idea how much Justin's mother despises you. An unwanted orphan and the woman who deserves to be by Justin's side. With that seductive appearance, don't pretend to be noble here. Do you think one glass of wine is enough to make you leave suddenly? The banquet hall fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. The expressions of the onlookers shifted from curiosity to disgust. The faces of Justin's family turned into a colorful palette of vivid emotions. Lily, on the other hand, went pale and slowly let go of Justin's mother's hand. Uffed, someone chuckled. The crowd began whispering, "Such a petty family. I wonder how many times they've bullied that poor girl." Didn't they say Justin's family proposed the engagement? Probably thought Selena's family had status and they could control her. Actually, Selena's family is well respected in academic circles, but they're taking advantage of her because her parents are always off on archaeological expeditions. But that young lady is truly beautiful and quite clever. You know, I wouldn't mind having her as my daughter-in-law. I put on a professional smile and turned off the recorder. Honestly, I've been bullied since childhood, so I'm always prepared. A recorder is part of my daily essentials. Oh, right. To commemorate grandfather's birthday, I also brought a micro camera. I removed a brooch from my dress. Shall we watch the footage too? I tilted my head innocently, blinking. Ahem, it's all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. Justin, what's with this Lily you brought? Did she come here to ruin my birthday party? Grandfather raised his cane and struck Justin's leg. Justin's mother hurried over to take my hand. Oh, dear, it's my fault. I was too anxious. I was afraid Selena might have picked up some bad habits abroad. Auntie here has always thought of you as her own daughter. It's because I care so much that I scold you. I nodded half-heartedly and subtly withdrew my hand. Of course, of course. Auntie, what was that about an engagement? Justin and I are just like brother and sister. There was never an agreement, so please don't try to play matchmaker. I blinked playfully and looked at Justin, whose face had turned grim. Isn't that right, Justin? Your oh-so-pretentious secretary is truly terrifying. If I hadn't brought the recorder, all of you would have falsely accused me. Scheming against me even before we're engaged, how petty. I stomped the floor theatrically. Then I turned with a smile and looked at Justin's mother again. Isn't that so? My sarcastic words silenced everyone. Did they really think they could bully me just because I was kind? Even kind people have their limits. I let out a soft snort and turned to take the hand of the man looking at me with adoring eyes. Darling, did I do something wrong? Why do Auntie and Grandfather hate me so much? I originally wanted to introduce my boyfriend to them. Kevin pulled me close and kissed the top of my head. Then let's get away from these people. All right. Kevin looked up. His smile, this open and fearless love, was everything I had always dreamed of. I wrapped my arms around Kevin's waist, burying myself in his embrace. Maybe it's because I have you behind me now that I dare to be this bold. I've always been a vengeful, dark person, and now that I have someone backing me up, anyone who dares provoke me, I'll bite them. Kevin's chest rumbled with laughter as he hugged me even tighter. All right. And if you can't bite them, I'll do it for you. The next time I woke up, it was already noon. Drowsy, I washed up and headed downstairs to find Kevin in the kitchen, wearing an apron and cooking. Watching him move so skillfully chopping vegetables, stirring the pot, slipped my arms around his waist from behind. Did you sleep well? Good. Lunch will be ready soon. I was just about to peek and see what he was cooking when the doorbell rang. I ran from the kitchen to the front door and opened it. To my surprise, it was Justin. I quietly closed the door behind me and turned to meet his gaze. About yesterday. I'm sorry. Justin's voice was hoarse, and looking closer, I could see dark circles under his eyes. Oh. I wasn't going to say it was okay. As the saying goes, if an apology were enough, why would we need the police? Anything else? I just wanted to go back and have breakfast. Yesterday, you and Kevin. Was that just to spite me? The problems between us shouldn't involve others. And Kevin is busy, every day, didn't trouble him. It wasn't to spite you. Kevin is my boyfriend, not some stranger. He's my family. I looked him straight in the eyes, speaking seriously. Justin was stunned, his eyes widening in disbelief. His voice rose. You and Kevin? Do you even know what you're doing? He's 3 years older than me. I shrugged.
Yes, and 6 years older than me. It's not like he's 10 or 20 years older. This age difference is perfectly normal, isn't it? And he definitely doesn't treat me like a child. Justin still looked incredulous. He frowned and grabbed my arm. No way. I tried to pull free, but couldn't.
Why?
Why can't you? Stop trying to separate Kevin and me. Let go. Do you even know his whole family isn't normal? I paused, a little surprised. What? Do you know that Kevin's mother was driven to death by his father? Kevin's father was an obsessive control freak who kept his mother locked up at home for 10 years. In the end, she developed severe depression. One moment, she was waving to Kevin from below, then she jumped from the building and died right in front of him. Kevin saw his mother die with his own eyes. His father was controlling, and so is he. Do you know how ruthless he can be? In Italy, those who betrayed him met terrible fates. How can you? Justin's eyes were red as he shook my shoulders. I know. I smiled, looking down. I know, brother. I knew from the first time I met him. What? Justin seemed unable to grasp what I was saying. In the beginning, he made decisions from you had to eat for each meal, what to wear when going out, how to balance school and hobbies. Everything was perfectly arranged. Later, I had to report who I met and what time I got home at night. But isn't that exactly what I wanted? A controlling personality and a dependent personality, perfect match. He won't resent me for being clingy, and he won't think I'm strange for not having friends. When I lack initiative, he makes decisions for me. I gently removed Justin's hands from my shoulders. Brother, Kevin feels like my destined other half. I used to dream of having someone who would make me the center of their world, someone who would care for me, love me, and give me a sense of security. Life only lasts a few decades now that I've found my perfect match. Why should I force myself to change? Besides, I feel like we're both getting better. He changed. Selena must wake up at 7. 2. Selena should sleep until fully rested. He encourages me to do whatever I want. Even if I stumble, he'll immediately catch me. And my dependence on him gives him a sense of belonging in this world. He's no longer that cold businessman who only cared about profits. No longer the madman who would harm himself and hide in the basement when things went wrong. We are each other's home. Thinking this, I really wanted to run upstairs right now and give Kevin a big hug. Justin, I used to cling to you too much and caused you a lot of trouble. I was hurt and angry when you misunderstood me. But still, I'm grateful for how you cared for me when I was little. After watching Justin leave, I quickly opened the door. Kevin was standing less than 10 steps away, looking at his phone. Hearing the door open, he immediately looked up and spread his arms with a smile. Kevin. I smiled and ran into his embrace. What are you cooking? It smells so good. Shredded pork with green peppers. Kevin easily lifted me up and started walking toward the dining room. At your last checkup, they said you were anemic. You need more iron. But I don't like green peppers. You don't have to eat much, just one bite. I chopped them very fine and cooked them soft. You won't even notice them with the rice. All right then, I'll have a little. Good girl. We weren't in a hurry to return to Italy. With a since we're already here attitude, we traveled around the country. On a private racetrack in Haicheng, 2 cars, one black, one red, raced side by side. The wheels spun furiously, engines roaring across the track. In the end, the black car edged ahead, crossing the finish line a second before the red car. After parking, a man and a woman got out from the driver's seats. I won. Kevin leaned against the car door and beckoned to the driver of the red car. I leapt into his arms, biting the bare skin of his neck. I tasted the salty sweat on his skin. The adrenaline still coursed through my veins, making me feel exhilarated. We kissed passionately. Next time we race, I'll definitely beat you. You just got lucky this time, fading as he addressed the elder. Since we're not welcome here, Selena and I won't impose on your birthday celebration any longer. Goodbye. Without waiting for the Jiang family to respond, he held me and let us out. Selena, wait, Justin finally called out, trying to stop me. But Kevin and I exchanged a smile and neither of us stopped. We went back home. As soon as we entered, Kevin pinned me against the door. Like a starving wolf, he kissed my lips, urgent and deep. My mind went blank as I tilted my head back, surrendering to his overwhelming love. After what felt like an eternity,
Kevin reluctantly pulled back, still trailing soft kisses. Selena, Selena, do you know how beautiful you are? Such a little bunny. Baring her teeth, how could you be so charming? Tell me, did you cast a spell on me? I blushed and pushed him playfully. Maybe it was because he was half Italian. When he was serious, he was the typical domineering CEO. But when he was in love, he was so passionately intense. But I really liked it. From now on, I'll work even harder. My opponent is just too strong. It's a deal. We also attended a few auctions. Kevin became obsessed with picking out the items he wanted, and I would bid on them for him, though I was using his money. In a private room at the bar, bro, stop drinking. You're going to poison yourself. Eric snatched the bottle from Justin's hand, trying to sober up his drunk friend. Why? What? Eric leaned in closer to hear him. Why doesn't Selena come looking for her brother anymore? It's been so long since she asked to watch movies, read, or paint together. None of these women are more beautiful than Selena, or more obedient than Selena. My secretary, yes, Lily. I fired her. She deliberately stirred up trouble and drove Selena away. Selena, Selena, I'm sorry. Justin buried his face in his hands, tears slipping through his fingers. Eric lit a cigarette in frustration. As Justin's best friend, he had always known that Justin's feelings for Selena were more than brotherly. But back then, even if he had pointed it out, Justin wouldn't have believed him. So, he did everything he could to prevent Justin from hurting Selena. And now this was the result Justin had brought upon himself. People only realize how precious something is after they've lost it. Extra in the early dawn, Kevin was staring obsessively at his wife. After 7 years of marriage, Selena was still becoming more and more captivating. They explored new fields together, attended the same university to enjoy campus life, and wrote their own romantic love story. After graduation, they traveled and did charity work. They even wrote books about their adventures. This time, they had been resting at their estate for 3 months, and next month they planned to head to Antarctica. There was still so much to prepare, and Kevin was savoring every moment. After all these years, Selena had completely severed ties with her biological parents. Word was they had divorced and each had started new families of their own. As for why her parents had never loved her, Kevin figured maybe that no longer mattered to Selena. Some truths just aren't worth knowing. In their story, there was no need for answers from the past. Knowing them wouldn't change the present, only create more trouble. And as for Justin's story, was even more complicated still, a tangled mess. He had married his former secretary Lily. Unbelievable, right? Yes, very unbelievable. Back then, she had drugged Justin when he was drunk, then fled to the countryside. She gave birth to a child, raised him until he was 5, and then brought him back. Under pressure from his parents, Justin registered the marriage with her. But that's all it was, a registered marriage. Afterward, Lily constantly sent money to her family. Later, Justin's family discovered that Lily had 3 brothers. They took advantage of their brother-in-law of the boss status and wreaked havoc in the company. But by then, it was too late for Justin's family to regret it. Apparently, they're now in the middle of a nasty divorce. Lily is demanding an astronomical settlement, determined to take half the family fortune. Somehow, Justin's mother managed to get Selena's new phone number. But Kevin answered. After all, he was officially authorized by Selena as her social representative. No one could disturb their life. Thinking about that, Kevin checked the time. It was almost time for Selena to wake up. Today, they were going out for breakfast. He needed to pick out an outfit for Selena. Outside, it was wisteria season, so today, they could wear matching purple outfits. Kevin leaned down and kissed Selena's forehead softly. Good morning to a brand new day, my other half.